Started?
It's going.
Cool. All right.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pflanz. I work for my own business, WordPress of Kansas City. If you want, you can follow along with this. I hate slideshows, so I did not build a slideshow. Instead, I did this presentation as a one-page, multi-page WordPress website. So you can go to webworksplayground.com. Some of these topics I'm going to move fast through because either one, they deserve their own presentation, or two, they're very novice. So I've included links for pretty much everything that I'm going to discuss. So if you're bad at taking notes or you think I'm going too fast, you can come back to the links later.
That was a really funny announcement. If you're bad with notes, then come back here.
Exactly.
All right.
All right. So first, this meetup is all about images, using images, and ways to make your life easier for yourself and for your clients when they use images. This idea for a meetup was spawned by questions that I commonly get from my clients, or things that my clients commonly ignore that I tell them. So, a little bit of an overview. If you did not see the Meetup primer that I put on the Meetup page, that's kind of got some things that I'm not really going to discuss, but it's got more in-depth links there. We're going to talk about offsite tools and tips. We're going to go over some basic usage of the image tools that are already in WordPress, and then the fun stuff, some plugins and code snippets to make everything more fun. All right, so first, the offsite tools and tips. The biggest tip that I can give anybody is to save your images optimized for the web. So often, especially when I deal with photographers, they have no idea how to save their images for the web. They have no idea that it's different for the web and for print. This is very quick, just through Photoshop, file, save for the web, save it as a PNG, JPEG, real quick. Now, if you, it is important to do that, yes.
Why is it important to do that?
Why is it important to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I forgot that part, didn't I? Well, I did not. I did not. Yes.
Instead of the other ones.
I did not say that because I'm actually going to cover it. However,
it's all right.
However, yes, a regular camera takes enormous pictures. Your website does not need enormous pictures. I'm just simplifying everything down real big here, real small. But your website needs smaller images, so both resolution and size, for that matter. If you want a free option, if you don't use Photoshop, GIMP is a great open source and free photo editing software. They don't have it built in, so there's a plugin called Save for Web, and same thing, file, save for web. Just keep notes of those, and if you have your own images from your cameras, it'll save you lots of hassles later. Next, real quick, over a little bit about the Google Developer Guide for optimizing your images. That, of course, links to it. I'm not going to go through the whole Google Developer Guide about it. But they say that PNGs are superior to GIFs. As well, use JPEGs for all photographic type images. And then do not ever use a TIFF or a bitmap.
Yeah. I've never heard of a TIFF, for the record.
That comes a lot from scanners.
Okay.
I think that's the native for a lot of scanners. Okay, next I have taking a screenshot. Why is this in here? Well, because if you're having problems with anything, it's a lot easier for you to take a screenshot and send it to your developer, your designer, or somebody to help you, and say, this is what's happening, this is exactly how it's happening, this is what I need. As well, if you have clients that just aren't getting something, take a screenshot. quite honestly, so often I run into so many people on all different levels of knowledge that have no idea how to take a screenshot. So that's why I figured this was an important area. As well, as you saw, I already used 2 screenshots before. But from your computer on a PC, simply your print screen will take a screenshot of everything that's visible and save it to the clipboard. On Mac, Command-Shift-3. And then if you want to make a selection, not the entire screen, PC, there's a built-in snipping tool. It's built into Windows, as well as on Mac, Command-Shift-4, and you'll pull up and be able to select what area you want to save as a screenshot. Now next, a screenshot of web pages. I use Google Chrome, and the reason I use Google Chrome, and the reason that I mentioned Google Chrome here, is because Google Chrome is now the most popular and most widely used web browser. It surpassed Internet Explorer, I think, 2 weeks ago. But I have 2 simple plugins I use. I use different plugins for a reason. To get the entire web page, I use an extension, I should say. It's called Full Web Page Screen Capture Chrome Extension. I'm just going to show you quickly how it works. I've already got it installed. The link there will let you install it if you want. It's got a little Pac-Man looking thing, and it will capture the entire length of the screen. This is only 1 page, but all the way down, everything that's on the screen. And the next one is called Lightshot. And Lightshot is a really cool screen capture extension. Once you hit the extension, you just drag, select the area you want, and that gives you a ton of different tools. Everything from drawing to arrows, boxing, writing, text, colors. Then you can upload it to the cloud. You can share it on any social media, email it, save it, copy it to your clipboard, anything you want. This is the tool that I use most whenever I'm trying to show somebody how to do something.
So or just those drawing tools to like
yeah. So here we've got drawing tool here, arrows to call out. Of course, you can change colors of everything, and then you can upload it if you just want to upload it and you don't care where it's uploaded to. It'll automatically upload it to printscreen.com and give you a little link down there in the corner. So it's a really cool little extension for screenshots. Next, I just really quickly wanted to touch, again on Google Chrome, how to inspect your page elements. Very simply, on Chrome, if you right-click and you hit Inspect Element, anybody who uses developer tools, I'm sure, does anybody not use developer tools or has never used a developer tool? Excellent. I'm glad people have it. Developer tools will give you many options to see what's going on the page. We have right here we have all of the CSS. Here's the HTML. So right now we're inspecting this H3 tag right here. And it gives you all the styles for that tag, as well as it shows you exactly where the style sheet is that's operating, or that's styling that tag. Also, I'm just going to cover that, but JavaScript errors, it's very good for debugging problems.
There are also a number of extensions that you can get inside this particular console. So if any of you use Google Analytics, which you all should be, there's a great extension for these particular tools in Chrome. And it is called GA Debug. You just turn it on. That's it. And what that does is, in plain English, it will tell you this did track, this did not track. Basically, it says track can be sent, track can be received, as opposed to having to be able to understand what's happening in the back of that console.
The main reason I wanted to show this is because something that's coming up here in a second. I'm not going to go into details on this next topic, but images are a big thing that can slow down your page loading speed. I'm sure a lot of you know this and you've seen this. Well, with the Google Developer Guide, again, for specifying image dimensions, I'm not going to cover everything, but you should specify the height and the width of all your images, or as many as possible, because I'm sure, as we've all seen, there are plugins that don't create an image size, they just resize on the fly. So That's not preferred, but you can get around it a lot of times with a content management system. You want to specify the images sizes that actually match the image. That's what I'm saying. If you've got an image that's 500 by 500 and you want it to display as 100 by 100, using the CSS to resize it is not necessarily a good idea for page speed. You want to specify the dimensions of the actual image element, the image tag, or the containing block element parent. Does anybody got a question on that?
You go back and said using the CSS to resize the photos is not the best way for page speed?
To resize, it is not the best method for page speed. However, using a content management system and a lot of the plugins that are out there, there's really not a way to fully get around that 100%. But what you can't, well, there is, but it's uploading and replacing.
I've got a page or site that's responsive. Then that might be over my head to ask me the question. So what do you?
Well,
not CSS.
That's what I'm saying. With nowadays, you're going to have that a little bit. You're going to have a little bit of image resizing. You can do image replacing. I mean, that's a little more advanced as far, but for the most part, most of your images, if you can specify the dimension based on the screen size and it's the full size image, okay, then that's what you want to do.
But you're kind of saying if you do the responsive design, then you can list in that responsive design, you list different images for that particular size to call in. So like when you create your, again for Photoshop, you create different size images, and then when you do whatever you do for your app media query, then it would call that photo rather than the one that's present, reducing the one you have, right? That's what you're doing.
Yes, yeah, but as also with a content management system, that's not really as practical as it may sound.
What I'm hearing you saying is, for beginning or intermediate, if your full screen size is 500 by 500 on a computer screen, not a device, then that's the biggest image you want to have. But if it actually gets responsive down, that's okay. But we don't want 5,000 pixels by 5,000 pixels reduced down to 500 by 500.
Well,
right?
As far as when page speed is concerned, it's the actual size of the image that you want to define the size of the image. And it doesn't matter if...
I can actually answer that.
Go ahead.
It's good to have an actual picture that's 5,000 by 5,000 and then reduce it down to 500 by 500 because your pixels don't, your picture won't look so pixelated. Now, if you take a 500 by 500 and try to blow it up to 5,000, it looks very pixelated. You can see all that stuff. So it's good to have a big picture and reduce it down to a smaller size. Best way to do it is, if anybody doesn't have it, is Photoshop. And you can go into image and resize the canvas. You can say, if you look up your area in your module, wherever you need that picture to go, it'll give you an idea of what pixelation, that if it's 300 by 200. You can then go into Photoshop, image size 300 by 200. It'll re-image that 5,000 by 5,000 down to 300 to 200. And it won't look so pixelated.
Okay, I get that. So then, if we don't need a 5,000 by 5,000 size for our screen, then if we can make it to be the biggest that we need, that's better than
Correct. Don't go upward.
Resizing the 5,000 by simply loading it up into your picture.
Yeah. Go downward, not upward.
Yeah.
When you're resizing.
This is a very big topic in itself. But again, at the end here, it doesn't matter if you specify the dimensions of the image in HTML or in CSS. That was a question that I saw. And one of the reasons that I wanted to show the developer tool for anybody who did not know is with this you can, I don't have any images on this page, but you can drill down and find, hopefully whoever designed your theme did it properly and is putting classes, etc. around on your images and your block level parents, so that you can actually dial in and specify the dimensions for whatever thumbnails and image sizes are being used in your theme. Hopefully they already actually did it correctly and the image sizes are specified, but that I just wanted to touch on this topic, that it doesn't matter if you specify the dimensions in HTML or CSS, and that's per Google Developer Guide. All right, the basic work, I'm going to go through this part pretty fast because I assume everybody's seen an image, but I want to make sure just in case. So just tell me to stop if you need something. I'm going to go over to the dashboard now. We're just going to look at the basic media settings. So we're on the dashboard, settings, media. And it lets you specify 3 sizes from the dashboard. I'm not going to go into creating image sizes and different image thumbnails here. I kind of wanted to stay away from a lot of getting into code because it's a lot more complicated and it'll draw a lot more questions, and I don't think I'd be able to get through this whole thing. So 3 image sizes. I generally, for my medium size, that's really, quite honestly for me, that's the only one I ever worry about to change. And generally what I will change it to is about half of whatever my container for my content is. So here it's a 920 pixel container. I generally go about half because I find that that is a good size to where content can still flow on both sides of it without it scrunching, and that's just one tip that I have. Here we go. No, not that one. All right. Next, we'll just take a quick look at the media library. So everybody's seen the media library. You can bulk upload images through the media library. And I just realized I forgot to include one of the topics that I was going to include. However, you can add new, and you can just drag and drop straight into this media library. Does anybody need a demo of this part?
I don't know about the bulk action.
Well, essentially, let's see what my desktop looks like right now. Let's see what I have on there. Ugh, junk. You can drag and drop. I'm going to see if I've just got a few things I can. Here's a couple. With the media uploader, if you're in the multi-file uploader, you can just drag. You can select multiple images and just drag them, and they will begin to upload to the media library. Pretty.
So you have to choose both.
Correct.
This upload.
Correct. All right, and we're going to touch real quickly on. I'm just going to go down to one I know already has it. These, by the way, are either all current Royals players or Royals players that were just offered minor league or contracts, whatever it may be. So it's not like my brother or anything there. All right. One of the questions that I got was that people are having a hard time managing and organizing their media. Sure, and if you have thousands or tens of thousands of images, it's going to be even more difficult, of course. However, I think a lot of problems, and a lot of problems I've seen from my clients, they're having a hard time organizing their images and finding the images they want to use because they're not putting the title for their image, and they're not putting descriptions for their image. So that does take a little time, sure, but it's going to be something that will help you with organization on your images. Not to mention, if we're talking about SEO, titles for your images as well as alt tags for your images. So real quickly, this is the title at the top. Descriptive. It should be descriptive. It's probably more descriptive than what I have it. It does show up whenever you're doing searches in the media library. Title is used. Caption. If your image or your theme uses the caption whenever an image is put on the website, the caption will display. The caption is not used whenever you're searching your media library.
It's optional.
It is, yes. Your alt text, What's the difference between alt and a title? Yes, more.
Not all text was for blind people.
Yes. It's
And robots.
correct. It's the
blind as well.
it's the alternate text that shows up if the image doesn't load. It's for screen readers, for robots. This is more of a descriptive of what the actual image is rather than a title you want to give it. Think of it that way. Like for here, I have Jason Donald photo shoot with the Cincinnati Reds, because that's obviously a photo shoot. Nobody walks around with a bat like that and a red drape behind him. And he's playing for the Cincinnati Reds at that time. So, you do? Jacob does. He's always got a red drape behind him.
All the time.
All right. And then your description down here is a more, this is used by the media library search, the description. And then again, this is more of a descriptive, whatever you want to describe the image as. But this is used in the search. So if you're having a hard time with your image, finding images you want that you know you have, just make sure that you're very descriptive with your title and your description. Those are the two big points to hit if you're worried about organization and finding media.
You should always be careful when you put that on shoulder description, and you can only remember what the picture looked like. You could put that in
Correct.
the search box and you can possibly pull up that description to that photo.
My mom has a client who does this extremely irritating thing with all of their files. And I get really upset about organization. If you guys have never heard my rant about the twofold purpose of organization, you just come find me. However, one of my mom's clients used to save anything that she needed to find as A, or AA, or AAAAAA, and wait for it to, like, and star A, like things that completely are not useful. And we had to break her up that night because I was like, I can't do anything with any of your information when it's all just screaming, ah! Like, it doesn't work.
Here's proof of concept. I put bat on shoulders in the description, and I went back and I searched for it, and that's the only image that was found. So just remember, your description and your title are important for finding your media after you upload it. I don't know if that'll answer all of your organization problems. Probably not. I've got some more coming, so don't worry about that. All right. All right. Next, we've got adding images and posts and pages. Again, I've got links on all these things too, and you can see the demo posts that I'll be working on there. If I can find the edit. Oh, there we go. All right, let's start with, hopefully I didn't actually activate one of the plugins that will stop me from doing this, but all right. Featured image. Does anybody use the featured image a lot? You want to tell us about the featured image?
Well, I used to on my old site. This site I can't seem to get to work. So.
As far as what?
Do you use it? Do you want to tell us about it? How do you use it?
How I use it is I use it as the image that shows up in my slider on the front page of my site.
Okay.
But I don't. My feed does not incorporate the feature image into the post.
Gotcha. Okay. And that's what's probably going on with your website then, is that it doesn't use that, which is fine. However, it's here. I use it most of the time. So let's just discuss the featured image real quick. Does anybody have a website or have a client that has a website that always seems to be using a tiny image where it definitely needs a large image? This is also one of my inspirations for this. However, we'll get to that in a second, right? So really quickly, featured images, it's pretty simple, right? You just upload an image and you set it as featured image. Well, there's a little trick that I want to show you, just because I really like this trick, and when I figured it out, I was amazed. I was absolutely amazed. Did you know you can upload an image directly from another website?
No.
No? Well, if you find an image you want, let's just, for example, let's find this Royals one here. if you go to that image and you get the image URL by right-click, I'm using Chrome again, of course, all day. And we're just going to copy the image URL. And this will go for any area that you want to do. Actually, even for Facebook, Google+, anywhere you pretty much need to upload an image from another website, or I wouldn't say stealing the image, but if you're taking an image from another website, of course give it proper attribution. I'm just going to show you real quick. If you select files as if you're selecting it from your computer, and then you just paste the URL and hit open, essentially it'll download it to your computer to a temporary location, then automatically upload it to your computer in one step. Just like magic, exactly. Okay, it doesn't want it. See, it doesn't like that one. So let's find a different one real quick. This one should be faster. Yeah. Okay.
I asked a question. If he's taking an image from Google or something like that, what about licensing? I'm sure.
Well, that's on you. That's on you. Of course, as I said, give proper attribution words. It's determined. Find out where your websites come from, what their licensing is. This isn't about licensing. Right. Well, you know, with Flickr, if it's coming from your own Flickr account, if it's coming from your own, you know, photo album on Facebook, of course you have no problem with that. Your other businesses, you know, website, whatever it may be. Of course, with licensing, you know, make sure you get proper attribution where it needs to be, and make sure you're, you know, allowed to use the images.
In real estate, and there are truckers that take really great cityscape photos, and they have law firms that specialize in tracking who snatches those images, and they will send we will send in a letter saying you owe us $6,500, but we'll settle for $1,500 if you pay us in days. And that has happened to people in my office. But they, oh, that's a really nice picture. They gave this guy like, oh, $1,500. Oh, and take it down. So it's not just enough to.
Yeah.
You got to get permission.
Absolutely. And that wasn't my whole point by this. But anyway, so one of the bad things about doing it this way is that you can't rename your image. So your image name is whatever it was before. So this one's kc1.jpg. But here, if you haven't seen this before, you can add the title, caption, alt, and description for the image all right there. So you don't even have to go back to your media library, of course. So
caption the URL, you right-click on the image.
Right-click on the image and copy the image URL.
Image URL. Not
the page URL, not the link URL, the image URL. So I'm just going to, and of course, as I said, with organization, you don't, every time you upload an image, no matter where you're uploading it from, you have the option to add all 4 of those categories for your organization. So do it, I guess.
And you set as featured image.
And it's, yeah, then it's set as featured image. I'm just going to update it real quick. This theme I know does use it because I had to put it in there. So there's the image. It's a 600 by 600 pixel image. So and okay, so the difference between adding a featured image and what you're probably doing on your website, since it doesn't use featured image, is adding it directly to the content, correct? Through the Add Media button. There's not much difference here, except for you can also create a gallery if you have a gallery plugin installed, or even, I don't know if you even have to anymore. And you can insert from a URL. Does anybody use the insert from a URL ever? No, and you shouldn't, because that is essentially just taking the URL of the image from another website.
No, she just said.
No, I imported the image to your website. That just displays the image with the link from the other website. So if that image ever goes down or is taken off, then you're going to be stuck with an ugly hole.
Can you rewind just a minute?
Sure.
I was with you when you copied the URL and such, but after that you said, and What's the difference in that and what you just saying? Just explain.
Okay.
I don't understand.
The insert from a URL here,
Yeah.
this would be if I had that image URL. Look, let's see. I think I still have it in my. Now this will actually use this as the image URL, kansascity.royals.mlb.com, rather than uploading it to your actual website and using your own library. This image does not go into your library. It's called hotlinking. It's going to hotlink from wherever it came from. So you're using their bandwidth, but at the same time, if that image is taken down, you got a hole in your website.
So I tried what you just said, but I'm in the media library and I did copy the URL from the picture that I just what I chose, and it's not. I don't know how to get it there. From
You make sure you use the upload. You're kind of tricking it into uploading it, to put it simply. But upload and you make it look like, and it opens your dialog from your computer.
When using that URL, you got like a click through. Somebody click on it somehow.
It's still being hosted off of that server.
Yeah.
So if it shows up there on your page, that server still hosting it.
Yeah.
So
So it's a different one?
Yours goes down too.
Yep.
So versus hosting it.
Other strategies to use it for the content delivery networks for purposes.
Exactly.
So you don't want all your bandwidth on your hosted.
SSDs and stuff. Pictures because our SSDs are Word. You're doing the same thing by too.
All right, I'm just going to insert an image here. And then when you insert an image actually into your content, you have these options to align it left, align right, center. This is another area where I ran into a lot of issues with clients. They kept having images that were looking like, let's say we don't want a full-size image, but kept running into issues like this. I'm sure everybody at some point who has started out doing anything with websites has run into something like this. So now the image, it doesn't have an alignment, so the paragraph is starting right next to the image. We've seen that, right? Everybody's seen that. Everybody's done it. And now also when you click on the image, it just goes to a boring blank page with just the image. This is something that I see probably the most out of anything. And it's very frustrating for somebody that doesn't know what's going on. Real quick, I'm going to show you how to take care of it, for one. We didn't want a full-size image, so to begin with, I'm just going to delete it because I don't want to do the resizing by percentage. So yeah, I don't want to resize it by percentage, so I'm just going to. Now we want to align it left. We want it to go to. I'm going to use none for this example because we don't need it to link anywhere, but you can also link it to any custom URL you want. I'm sure there are instances where it's useful. I don't know. I really haven't run into any myself, but unless you're creating a button that links somewhere, I guess. That's about it, I guess. And we're going to put medium, update it, take a look real quick. See, now the image, the text flows around the image. Looks a lot better. There's no option to click on the image. So there, we've improved that immensely already.
Because you downsized it?
I didn't actually downsize it. I chose the medium-sized image that is created by WordPress. Because WordPress creates those 3 sizes of image that we set in the media settings. It creates the thumbnail, the medium, the large size image. Here I just chose to use the medium-sized image instead. That's why I always set a medium-sized image that's, like I said, about half of the container. So that way text can still flow around it and you can still use what you need with it.
Can you choose another size besides those 3? Because those are the exact same 3 sizes I have in mind.
Yeah.
Can you choose another size?
Well, you can, yes and no. You can create as many sizes as you want via functions in your theme functions file. to create as many image sizes as you want. You can actually use them, and I'll kind of show you how.
You can make them, but you can't use them?
Well, you can use them. I'll show you a little bit on how to actually use those sizes, but I didn't include a plugin in this presentation to use them per se, but there will be an instance where I'll be able to show you how to use them. If that makes any sense.
In this case, if you did the image sizing by percentage, what's detrimental?
Then you're resizing the image via CSS, and you're not actually calling it the actual image size. Here, let me show you.
And is that taxing on the?
That's for the page load page speed that we talked about. I'm just going to drag this one back where I want it. Whatever. Okay. Go away. Moving it off by 1 pixel, right? I was trying to find a large image here. Okay, here's a big one. Whatever.
Why do you have so many pictures of baseball players?
Because I needed pictures.
Okay.
So I guess my question, if you have
So I
a
kept it
template that you use on your blog or whatever, and it's, 600 or 800 pixels wide, could you choose your large size to do that? So
Yes.
that when you choose, it doesn't have to be 1024 by 10.
Correct.
You could change those numbers in your settings to 800 so that your large size would be full
Correct.
screen. Okay.
Correct. And the other image that I used before wasn't very big, so this just shows you here that you do have 4 sizes to choose from. With a function, you can actually add more sizes, as many sizes as you want. However, I did not include that here. So I guess it's. Are there any questions on that, other than the one that I don't have a demo for? No? Okay. All right. Okay, I'm just going to go over real quick the basic editor, because a lot of people don't realize that there is an editor in WordPress. I'm going to leave this page and I'm going to go just back to the media library and take a look at a picture. Does anybody use the media editor on WordPress?
Yeah.
Or the image editor? No? Maybe that's why nobody knows it's theirs, because nobody uses it and nobody tells anybody else about it.
Where is it?
Well, if you go into your media library, you can choose Edit Image, and you can actually do that from the media pop-up whenever you're adding it to a page or adding it to the featured image. You can do it pretty much from everywhere. Everywhere that you can add an image also has the ability to edit the image. And I'm going to pick.
Oh, I do that also.
You use the editor?
That's what I title.
Okay.
You do the alt text. That's what my intern does.
Gotcha. So here's, real quickly, here's the image editor.
I've never seen it.
Exactly. See, some people have never seen this. And the main thing that I use this for, quite honestly, I don't ever use it. But the best thing that this is useful for is if you need to get a different size of thumbnail. For example, I intentionally did not put any images that are the portrait style, because portrait style images just in general don't work very well for websites. The landscape images do. What I always tell clients is, for the best results, get an image that is landscape and your subject matter is in the direct center. Right? That's a lot tougher than it sounds, however. So if you run into an area where your image is not displaying how you want, your smaller thumbnail, your smaller featured image is just not displaying how you like it, you have the options in here to recrop your image, to rotate your image. Who's taking that picture that's sideways? You can do it straight from here. You can rotate your image. I'll just.
Center edit.
Yeah.
On one image.
Correct.
It doesn't look the same.
I got a question. I want to have one photo that on my computer is right-sided portrait, and the person that's right-sided up, whenever it's inserted, it looks fine, but then when I move it on a mobile device, it's rotated.
So on a PC, on your website, it looks right?
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. You have to show it to me.
Stumped Travis.
That's not hard to do. I am not the smartest person in the room.
On edit image.
You're on an older version of WordPress.
Oh, is that right? Oh, you got it.
However, there you go, right there. It's an image to load the image.
Oh, the edit image below the extra.
Also, you can flip your images from here, etc. But the most useful is going to be the crop, quite honestly. If you, for example, if your website does use portrait-style images versus landscape, then you can, crop it to use a portrait-style image. Make sure you hit the crop button. I see that a lot too. People put the crop rectangle, but don't hit the crop button and then wonder why their image never updates. Now you've cropped it, but you still have to save it. Don't forget to save it too, because I see both of those all the time. And you can choose if you want to display it, apply it to all images, just as thumbnail, all except for the thumbnail, etc. You can scale the image. I'm not going to go through all these, and then if you know the aspect ratio you need to crop an image, I'm going to undo this real quick. So we know we need a 1:1 aspect ratio. Now when you draw your, of course, there we go. No, it's not sticking to the aspect ratio. I tested all my methods earlier to make sure they worked. Anyway, that should, let's just, maybe it needs bigger. Maybe it doesn't like 1:1. No, I don't know. The aspect ratio is not working for whatever reason. But anyway, so those are basic tools that are in your WordPress to be able to edit an image if you don't have Photoshop and all that. So we're going to get past this boring stuff because it's maybe not boring. I'm sorry. It's not boring to everybody. Okay, so now we're at least covered a little bit of what is included in your WordPress. Now let's move on to some fun plugins, code snippets, etc. First, we're talking about controlling the uploaded image sizes. And this is a question I got and I see all the time. This right here, this first, well, this is not this first one. Let's just discuss WP Smush It. Does anybody use WP Smush It from Yahoo? Yeah, kind of, yeah. Basically, if you decided that you didn't want to do all that image optimization on your computer, WP Smush It will help you a little bit by reducing your image size by compressing. I don't even have it on here. Let's add it. Let's add it.
Let's add it. Let's see. Add it.
No, that says shush it.
Well, let's see if it finds it. No, it doesn't. Okay. I don't use this one very often, and I guess I forgot to install it. I'm going to go through and deactivate plugins after we use them, because some of them actually will. No, they work together, but they take some settings. Okay, so we have our media library. Now, your images are not smushed, so you can smush it, and it will. It should. I think it tells you how. No savings on that one. Let's find one that I know we can save some space on. I intentionally did not optimize these for the web so I could do things with them, but let's see. I doubt I got all optimized images. That would be crazy.
So what did you just click on Smush It?
I just clicked Smush It next to that image. In the settings of, there we go, let's see. There, I reduced it by 2.9%. That's great, right? It's okay. You save some space, right? Now you can also bulk smush it. Let's bulk smush it. This may take a while, actually. I don't have that many images here, but this will run all your images through the smush it and optimize them. Also, if you go back to the Google developer's link that I have up there, it has lots of different software that you can use to optimize your image for size and for web. But we'll go past this and we'll come back to it. We'll let it work.
So can you use it and then deactivate it, or does when you deactivate it, it undoes everything?
No, you can use it and then deactivate it, and then just activate it when you need it. I don't use it very often, so that's why I didn't have it. This next plugin actually is another inspiration for this topic. Is setting a maximum dimensions for images that are uploaded to WordPress. Now, this doesn't actually set a maximum dimensions. What this does is takes your image that you upload and says that it automatically resizes it to that maximum that you say. I'll show you. And then it throws away the original image and keeps the large image that you just now created as the original. Got it? Okay, we'll show you.
So then you don't have the image that you originally had at all.
Correct.
Okay.
So if you've got a 3,000 by 3,000 or a 10 megapixel picture from your camera, that's not going to display on your website anywhere. You don't need it that big. So this, let's see, here I'll just show you here the bulk smush it. See, we're saving 8%, 14. And see, it's got. We'll get to this also, but you've got each image that's got created. You've got 4 sizes because this one also has a slider image and the original. This goes through all the image sizes that your website has created and smushes all of them. I'm going to deactivate this, and then we're going to. This is actually one of my favorite plugins. It's called Insanity. And in the settings here, there is a word of caution with this plugin. However, whenever you upload an image, you can tell it how the maximum width you want and height. You can leave any of those blank. You can set them all to the same for images that are uploaded via the page or via the media library. So if you say, okay, I'm the only person in my website that accesses the media library, I want to be able to upload larger images, I'm going to do it that way. You can set different settings for each area that's listed here. As well as you can compress JPEG images. And so you're optimizing a little bit more. And remember, we talked about bitmaps are not good, so it's got the option to automatically convert all of your bitmaps to JPEG. Fantastic. Now, this is great. You can also resize all the images that you already have to those settings. This is where the word of caution comes in. If you say, all of my images are already smaller than that, but if you say, I only want my maximum image size to be 1024 by 1024, but yet you have a slider that uses 1,400 pixel images, it's going to resize all of those images as well. So you don't want to go through in bulk. You don't want to go through in bulk. You probably want to go through and do it one by one. If I did have them there, you can tick them to select the ones you want.
I do have a quick question about hero image, slider images.
Uh-huh.
You said 1,400. Is that
Whatever it may be.
Oh.
You know,
I was just gonna say,
like if you have like
best practice. I always have suggested 1,600, and I was
well,
like,
no, I was just using that as an example. So, you know, it's like if you have a full width theme, and for whatever reason you want something that's 2,000 wide, that's skinny. I've seen those too, but I'm just using that as a word of caution that if you have sliders or header images that have been uploaded through the media library, keep in mind through the media library, this will resize all of them. I'll just go real quick and I'll give you an example here, if you like. We're going to grab another Royals image. I'm going to go run to the Royals and be like, hey, who's using your images?
have you seen the WordPressKC logo lately?
What'd you do to
Anybody
it?
seen that? We stole the KC before it was allowed to be stolen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this image is 2,800 by 2,000. As soon as it finishes loading, I'm going to just copy the image URL like we did before. It's probably going to take a second. It does work from a Mac. I think there's something a little different you have to do.
I was behind, like, I don't know how far, because I got stuck there.
Well, that's why I gave you all. That's why I gave you all the links. And that's why I gave you the slideshow to work at your own, to catch up if you fall behind or whatever you like. All right, so now we're going to go into this image, and we'll see that it has resized it down to 1098 by 800 because I set the maximum height at 800 and the maximum width 1200. So it resizes it down, keeps the aspect ratio, and puts it within that size. So now you don't have that enormous image on your website that you're never going to use, because if this is as big as you're going to use, it's all you need. It's there for you.
If you had left the height off at 0 and left it blank,
Correct. Then
it would have been the maximum size you set for.
correct. You can use you can leave any of the settings blank. You can leave any of the settings blank, and it will disable that part of it. So it would have went to 1200 by 810 or whatever it may have been. One of my absolute favorite plugins that I use all the time. Next, another one of my favorite plugins, the Dynamic Image Resizer. So we've just seen, whenever it was doing the WP Smush It, we have 5 versions counting the original of every single image on this website, right? Chances are you're never going to use the thumbnail or never use the medium size of one of those images. You're only going to need 1, maybe 2 sizes. This fantastic little plugin, get back to my plugins. Oh, there we go. This fantastic little plugin, it will not create an image size until you actually need it. So until your theme calls for the medium image of Eric Hosmer hitting a home run, it's never going to be on your server. So you can save, especially if you use a ton of images on your website and in your library, you can save a lot of disk space with this. I actually just did a test on a website that was only a year old, and I went through and I cleared up over half the size of disk space for the image, or for the website, just by...
It'll be on your server, but it won't be served.
No. It's not created until it's called.
So where is it that it's being created from?
It's created from the original image. Just like...
Which is in your medium.
It will show you. Just as WordPress, whenever you upload an image, it creates all the sizes it can. So if you've got a big image, it will create your large, your medium, your thumbnail. With this image, with this plugin, the Dynamic Image Resizer, it will not create the thumbnail, the medium, the large until your theme or your post actually says it needs this image size. So it saves a lot of space on your server. Does that make did that get what you're saying?
I was just wondering, just because it was in the media folder, I didn't know it was being served.
No, until it's called on the front end.
Yeah.
It is not. There are actually no settings to this, but let's see real quick. Let's see if I can give you a proof of concept. I don't know that I can give you a proof of concept with this without actually going into the. Whoa. That's right. I'm trying to find one that's at least a little smaller so I don't have to do all of it. All right. I'm going to let this upload, and I'm going to go in here into let's see. Okay. Okay, it doesn't want an FTP. Of course it doesn't. All right, well, freaking internet connection. Okay. Anyway, I guess I can't show you proof of concept of that one, but essentially if you check into your uploads folder, you'll see that only that large image is there, rather than all 4 or 5 or 20 sizes. I recently worked with with a client that had a theme that created like 15 different image sizes for every single image that was uploaded, and it's just a lot of wasted space, a lot of wasted effort.
Did you activate it actually?
I'm sorry?
I didn't see you activate that. Okay.
Yeah, I activated it. I activated it, but I can't give you proof of concept because for some reason my FTP is not connecting here.
Last time I looked at an image folder off of FTP, I didn't notice it had multiple images, multiple sizes of the same image.
Yeah, it'll be dashes at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, I can't give you proof of concept or proof of function. I guess it's not really concept, but it's there. Anyway, those are two of my favorite plugins that I've used a lot recently. Next, better use images in your post. We'll go back to that very first example that we discussed, or that I showed. Where is it? Here we go. Let's go to this one. Now we've got this image here, and I'm going to just replace it. We've got this image again that, let's go medium, attachment, or media, whichever it may be. Let's see, this one had a caption, so there's the caption displaying. But the link is just going to this blank page, and or the blank page with the image, boring. And like I said, this is something that I see all the time with clients, and they're like, I don't like this. I say, well, just select none, and they can't get it, or they just don't listen. One of the two, whatever it may be. So I like this very simple Lightbox plugin. It's called Simple Lightbox. And it has some very simple settings for you. Maybe. I wish it was standard to put the settings right here with the. Yeah, I wish they would just make it a standard to put this. Oh, it does have one on there. I just didn't scroll down far enough. There we go. Okay. So this is just a very simple lightbox. Any image that you click on, that you tell it in the certain areas, it will display it in a lightbox. You have to enable it, of course. Enable it on the home page. Maybe you want it to, maybe you don't, depending on how your images are used. I generally do it on posts, yes. Pages, archives, maybe. I'm just going through as fast. Widgets is a good place. I see a lot of times people want to put an image in the widget, and it's just small. If it's a big landscape image, it's small. So if that's the case, and you're never seeing that full-size image because you're always using tiny images in your sidebar, maybe enable it there. You can display groups of items on a page as a slideshow. Sure. I'm going to leave it at light, and I'm just going through these settings. These are all either default or ones I already set up before I deactivate it. One or two. Who knows? So I'm just going to reload this page, and it's got a nice little lightbox, default lightbox that shows up. And what's great here is it'll show both the image caption and the description. If you deactivate either one of those, then it'll take it off. You can set that up in the settings as well. To me, this is something that's very simple that you can do to add a lot of class, I guess, to your website. The one thing to keep in mind about this is that this image is linking to the image. So we've got the image link when we set it up, and let's just go through it real quick. Goodbye.
So that lightbox, is it able to be used in galleries? Like if you have multiple images? That's awesome.
I'll get to that in just one second.
Inside the lightbox?
Yes, it does. It's got a timer, and that's one of the settings. The only thing about this is that you have to set it to either link to the attachment page or the media file. So if you select none, you're still not going to get a lightbox because it needs some place to load that link. But that'll remedy. Oh, I didn't want it big. Oh well. that'll remedy a lot of the situation you get with loading up that blank, and it's just really quick. Couple check marks, activate the plugin, and it adds, in my opinion, adds a lot of class to. This one, I don't want to skip it, but I'm going to have to skip it because it doesn't look like I can connect via FTP. I don't know why. We'll discuss this a little bit because this is something that I use a lot as well. This link here, follow this link, check it out. This is a snippet that will go into your functions.php. And what this does, it's got 3 different options that you can set. You can only use one if you want. You can set it up for, let's add another image here. A couple of those. Those functions that you add to your PHP file can set defaults for your alignment left, your link to the attachment page, and the image size. For example, like I said, I generally create a medium-sized image, so I go in for my clients and I set that up as the default is medium. So I don't have to worry about them saying, I don't know what's going on, why isn't it linking, I want it to link, why is it so big, why is it so small? But you can set the defaults for your alignment, your links, and your size. So if you don't want to use a lightbox with that function, you can go set it to the default is none. So they have to make a conscious effort to change it, or you have to make a conscious effort to change it. As well, you don't run into that with the paragraph, with the inline images, so you can always make it so the text wraps properly around the images. Really wish, and actually this is actually showing the functioning right now, because if you notice, every time I load an image, it uses the same settings. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, I can't connect to FTP, so check it out. Definitely check it out if you're comfortable editing your functions.php file, because it is well worth handy little tip, especially if you have other people managing your website or their own website and asking you questions. Next, another thing is requiring a featured image. This is something that I seem to run into a lot whenever I have multi-site, or not necessarily multi-site, but multi-author blogs. Tell everybody, hey, put an image in your post. It's so much more entertaining, it's so much more exciting, whether it's overly relevant or not. People just forget, don't understand, no matter if they're your best friend or not, they don't care.
They think their writing is going to do it all.
Yeah. So this. There's this quick little plugin that will fix that for you. It's just a required featured image. That's all it does, is requires a featured image. And there you go. I tried to update it, and it says, this entry has no featured image. Please set one. So I can't update this or can't do anything with it until I set a featured image. So I'm just going to go choose a featured image. Can't publish it. If this one was already published, so it stayed published. But if it's in draft or you're writing, it will just save it as draft. So that's very useful. So now here we set a featured image. Update it. Beautiful. Well, whatever. It doesn't like that image, but get the idea. I was probably using an image I'm not supposed to use. That's why I unload it, right? Next thing, okay, so you can require a featured image, but then the next thing is, as I mentioned in the beginning, you have those featured images that are tiny, whereas it's supposed to take up a big space. This is a good plugin. This plugin is actually really new, and you have to add a code snippet to your functions.php to get it to work. And like I said, for whatever reason, I guess I could go and no, because I don't have the code that's in there. Wait, do I have it open here? I do have it open. I can't use it. I can't save it to show you, but I can show you what the code looks like. Essentially, this other plugin, it does very much what the previous plugin does, except for this one requires minimum dimensions. So if you say, hey, I need my featured image to be at least 640 pixels wide, I don't care how tall, you can ignore the width. Or if you say, hey, I need this to be, at least 640 by 480, or whatever you may need. But you do have, and the link is there, you do have to add a little snippet to your functions because they don't have any settings set up for whatever reason. But you'll just have to choose what your post type is. If it's just post, page, or custom post type. Enter the minimum width, the minimum height. And whenever you try to, as we did before, whenever you try to save it and it's not there, it'll say you need to set a featured image. This is one thing I don't really like yet, because as I said, this plugin is still pretty new. But I'm glad it's here because I used to use this. I've always used this method, but it was a lot longer and a lot more complicated before this plugin came out. But if you don't include a featured image, it'll just say you have to include a featured image. It doesn't say include a featured image that's at least this size until you put one that's the wrong size. And then it says, oh yeah, your featured image needs to be this size. So, like I said, this is still pretty new. I think it's less than a month old. So I imagine they'll improve it to where the settings are inside WordPress and all of that. But this is very good if you keep seeing those tiny featured images on your website.
But if you have to add the snippet to, you said,
functions.php inside your theme file.
no.
All right, Josepha asked about galleries. So last month, I forget who it was, when Jim was presenting, somebody mentioned Jetpack, and somebody said, no, you don't want Jetpack because it's extremely bloated. All right, it has all kinds of. I don't know if you want. It does have uses, but this is a way to, if you like that mosaic style gallery that Jetpack has, if you've seen it, you know what it looks like. Well, this little plugin here will do almost the exact same thing without using Jetpack. I'm just going to go to their demo link real quick and kind of show you. So it's got a nice tiled mosaic. So it'll automatically, display the images for you. You can go squares or circles. It's got 3 different options. And I use this in combination. I don't like the light box that this one uses because it puts a lot of extra stuff on there. I like the simplicity of the simple light box, oddly enough. I'm going to deactivate the required featured image, otherwise it's going to yell at me. So with this plugin, let's find where the settings are. It's probably right there inside. Oh, never mind. Deactivate the other one. All right, let's see. Maybe it's here. Okay. It's in the settings, media, and you can set it so if you click the check mark, it'll always display your images in the mosaic whenever you insert a gallery. I'm not going to go through the entire process of inserting a gallery, but I already have a demo post set up. Maybe. There we go. Has everybody inserted a gallery before? You know how to insert a gallery? I'll just go through it real quick then, in a second. But here, you see it's taken all the images that I put into the gallery and has displayed them in that mosaic. You also have the options to display them in the squares or the circles. But then I've used the combination. Apparently I didn't use the combination. But then it creates the Lightbox pop-up slideshow for it. This is why I don't like this one. The comments thing seems to be weird. But it'll automatically slide, and it'll use the metadata that you have you know, your titles, captions, etc. that you've set, unless you tell it not to. I use both of them. That's nice.
That one was the tiled gallery, but that was the one after that.
That was the tiled galleries. And just real quick, since some people haven't inserted a gallery, I'm just going to real quick. If you just add media and you hit create gallery, and then you can just select the images that you want to use in your gallery just by multi-selecting, and then create a gallery. You can add captions directly from here as well, and choose the type of gallery you want. So we'll just go square on that real quick. I gotta figure out why it landed with both of those. Thought I made sure the settings. You can use either or. I just apparently did not correct my settings. So down here at the bottom, all the images are square in the second gallery that we created.
So you have to have that plugin to be able to do that?
That is a plugin, yeah. Otherwise, the default WordPress galleries are just squares with lots of space between them, and cheesy-looking rounded-looking shading border. All right, I'm not going to go through this, but there's an advanced image editor that's really great if you want to take a link. This, in addition to what we already saw, also has filters, you know, for it's got Instagram-type filters, black and white, all that kind of stuff as well. So if you need more out of your image editor, or that's a good way to go. Okay, images and SEO. So we're already entering titles and, I said image tags, alt tags for all the images now, right? So you've SEO'd your images. And if you're too lazy to do that, who's in that category, then
No one better raise their hands.
Then there's this nifty little plugin, if you've never seen it, SEO friendly images. I'm not going to go through it. It will automatically insert a title and an alt tag based on your post settings. So you just read through that. It's pretty simple to use. Last one. This is the last plugin I have about protecting your images, because we had some talk about real estate industry stealing images. Maybe you want to use watermarks, maybe you don't. I prefer watermarks if you're trying to protect an image for one reason. Remember how I showed you to take screenshots before? People can still take screenshots and use it on their website. The only thing they're not going to be able to do with that screenshot is resell it. You know, I mean, because it's not going to be quality. So I prefer watermarks if you're going to go that route. If you need to go that route, do you need to? I mean, I think that's a very tough choice if you think you need to do it. But quite honestly, I don't use it very often.
I mean, if you're working with or for photographers where you are a photographer.
That's really, yeah, that's really the only time I ever use it is when I'm working with photographers. Oh, that's why. I accidentally activated Jetpack. That's why it kept popping up. I hit the wrong thing. See? There you go. That's what I was trying to do. That's what I like. And it's just an automatic slideshow too. Anyway. Last plugin. I'm gonna deactivate these ones just.
What does the watermark look like?
I'll show you. I'm gonna activate it next, but I wanna. I haven't had any conflicts, but I don't want to run into a conflict one.
Do you recommend it for, like, my organization that I work with kids underage kids? Post a lot of pictures.
Do you get some sort of consent for pictures that are used? Then no.
Okay.
I mean, really, it's only, in my opinion, it's only if you're worried about your images being stolen and used by somebody else. Everybody has their own opinion when it comes to protecting their images. Some people just like to use the disabling a right click, but you can still take a screenshot. Some people like to insert the transparent GIF or ping over it, but same thing, you can still take a screenshot. And this is a very, very simple plugin to set up. Again, this one comes with another word of caution with your automatic watermarking. Do you want to use automatic watermarking or not? My recommendation is do not set it to automatic, because every single thing that you upload will have a watermark, and you have to re-upload the image to get rid of it. Because this actually puts your watermark on your image, otherwise it would have no point, right? So I'm going to enable it for all of it. I don't want to enable it on my slider images. That wouldn't be useful. So I'm not going to go through exactly everything, all the settings, but they're pretty self-explanatory. You can align it to center or whatever you want. And you would need to create your own watermark image and upload it to your website. You don't have to set any sort of transparent, well, you're going to need some transparency, so a PNG whenever you save it, but you don't need to set an opacity? I never get it right.
Sorry.
So you don't have to set that because you can control it all right here. I've already uploaded this nifty image, and you can scale it based on the image that's being used on, or you can use just the originals, but you're not going to show the whole thing, or however you want to use it. You can scale the watermark to make it larger or bigger in relation to the image that's being put on. And then here's the transparency. I'm going to leave it pretty high so you can actually see it works. And then we're still going to save the image quality, because you can actually resize the image quality of the image that's being put on. So if you want it to be less, optimize it even further, scale it down size, whatever. Not size, but file size. Here you can disable the right click if you want, but it depends on why people are at your website, if disabling the right click is going to upset people that visit your website, or if it's going to be useful. Anyway, so we did not set automatic, so I'm just going to go into the media library and take a look at an image. We'll just take a look at this one that we uploaded earlier. And the only thing about this plugin is it's not exactly very intuitive to use. You use it from your media library, but you'll select all the images you want to add the watermark to, and then it's in your actions. Apply watermark. So it's not like the other ones where it creates a link right here or anything like that. All right, so we've applied those watermarks. I'm just going to go back into, which one was it? This one. And then we're going to add an image. And we'll add this image here. And it doesn't look like it's got the watermark, does it? Well, it does. Well, let's just say, I hope it does. If it's not, let me update it. Oh, did it already update? No. Don't tell me you updated. Why don't you want me to update? Oh, there it goes. Probably got a blip in my internet connection.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look at that. It did not do it.
Making a fool out of you.
Yes, it is. And of course, I went through and tested every single thing that I've talked about tonight, this afternoon. You know what? Maybe. I think maybe I didn't reload the page before I added the image, right? Yeah, I don't know. Where is my image? Now my image isn't even there. There it is. Okay. So that's what it was. I didn't reload the page after I saved the watermark. But, so, of course, blue on blue and black, but you can see the watermark is there. And then, if we, you know how we were taking the images before? See, it's kind of all piled on each other. So, let's copy this image URL and take a look at it in a new tab. And there it is. There's your watermark is on your image. Let's just save the image so we can take a look as it's on the computer to show you that it is actually completely applied to the image. So there we've watermarked the images. you've protected them as much as you're ever going to protect anything on the internet, I suppose, unless you've got the lawyers going around telling people that they'll settle. No, I'm just saying. Unless you got those guys going around saying, "Hey, we're going to charge you $1,500 if you settle soon." I think there might be. Okay, this I'm going to go through really quickly. I forgot about this one. I know there are some more media management. This really great plugin here. It's called Enhanced Media Library. And I've already got the settings set up, so all I have to do is activate this one, right? I know. Yeah, right. Enhanced Media Library. This Enhanced Media Library now adds media categories. So I have created 2 categories. You can create categories just like you do with posts. I have created categories Royals and not Royals. So you want to guess what's in the Royals category? Royals.
Queen, one item.
Yeah, one item, exactly. Now I forgot which item that is, actually. Oh, no, here it is. See, I had these sized out so I can show you the other one. Now, see, this one is in the Royals category. Great, whatever. So let's go back in. I'm going to reload this page again and just add another image. So even more to help you organize, and this may not be enough for some people, I understand, Carissa, and others. But now, whenever we're adding an image, you can see that you have now a drop-down to select a category. So you can also put your images in as many categories as you want. And now, in addition to searching, you can go back and you can search by category as well. Searching one image by category is not really anything interesting. So I think that's another good tool to help you stay organized. You haven't tried that one? I've been playing around with this one a lot, and it seems like it does a lot more than any one that I've found in the past. Here's another thing to help you stay organized, and this was one of your specific questions too, Carissa, I believe, is, or maybe you've already seen this and you're like, that doesn't work, which is always possible. Enable media replace. Okay, so it isn't one that you've seen. Great.
I thought you were saying no, as in don't do that. And I was like, Travis, tread lightly.
This plugin is fantastic. If you have an image that you use all over your website, or you've used many places, say it's a picture, if you have a family blog and it's a picture of, your brother or something, and he wants a new picture on your blog because he hates it, but you've put it everywhere. Then it's very simple. Now you can just go find the image that you don't want, and you hit Replace Media. And this is in the Media Library again, of course. We've activated the plugin. It just didn't appear randomly. Now I'm going to go get another picture here. Okay, so if anybody's a baseball fan, Emilio Bonifacio was DFA'd a while ago for the Royals. But anyway, I'm going to copy this image URL. So we have this picture, wherever it is. Where did I go? Okay. So we have this picture of Emilio Bonifacio that we no longer want to use. We want to use a different picture of Emilio Bonifacio every single place that the other one was used. Very simple. Just click on it, choose your new file, upload your new file, and we're going to select Just Replace the File. And whenever you select Just Replace the File, the new file you upload, it will change the file name to the old file name. So you have that option, or you have the option to replace the file and use the new file name. So if you want a new file name, then it'll change everywhere that it's used throughout. But I'm just going to replace it. Of course, it'll take a second. Here we go. Now we're going to go back to the library. And here's this picture. We're going to reload the library. and the picture's changed. And that's changed anywhere that we've used it.
I actually found this plugin not doing pictures. Another really handy use is like I have a customer that has a catalog that's on a page on their website, and the catalog changes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
They have all the links in their emails and their newsletters, and they can go change it from
Yeah.
there. Great.
yeah,
That's brilliant.
So when I set up the custom
Right.
pack now, yeah. It's-
Yep, that's the other thing I was going to mention. It's great for catalogs, PDFs, any sort of downloads that you may need people to do, and it saves you an infinite amount of stress. This last one, I'm not going to go over it too much, and I doubt it's going to help Carissa or her multi-site because she's probably found this one. She probably hates it. This is to be able to share your media library across multi-site. It sounds great if you haven't looked at it. This little circle here, it only allows you to search blogs one by one. So if you have a 3 or 4 website multi-site, that may work for you. But if you have a 50 website multi-site and you have to go through each one individually, actually, David's not here, is he? No. David and I have been emailing back and forth. He's actually working on a plugin to do exactly that because he deals with a lot of multi-sites. So, Krista, you may want to hit up David Navarro. Is that, yeah?
That's right.
Sound familiar? Okay.
You can't make it when we do it.
Yeah, he said he was going to try. Oh, look at that. I did something with my... Oh, that was supposed to be my next page that didn't go through. Okay, I'm sorry. I know this was long and we started a little late. Does anybody have any questions for me specifically or for anybody, anything involving images?
Do you have an SEO specific image plugin or suggestion that will let you know if your geotag information?
Yeah, I think that was you that had the geotag, right? There is a plugin. I didn't mean to go to my website. I don't care.
And also, like I think in some cameras you can set it was taken
Yeah.
by like I don't remember what EXIF stands for. But
Right. I actually did not have time to get to that one since I think you sent it either late last night or
yeah,
today.
Yeah.
There is a plugin, and I can post that on Meetup. There is a plugin that I think may work for what you're looking for that I think is free.
Will Yoast work for
For
the?
I don't know if Yoast does geotags.
I don't think it reads the metadata from the images.
I don't know.
I've never seen it do that, but I've seen it does it.
But he has a new to be advanced version, right? That you pay for versus the.
Yeah, it's
He also has the video one.
yeah.
But I don't know what the difference is.
The advanced doesn't really have much else. That's the new features on the advanced are things that are available for free elsewhere. So, anyone else? Questions? Comments?
On the enhanced media libraries, you can go back and put all your photos into.
Yes, you can. You can. I don't believe it has the ability to bulk. I generally find something and I start from the beginning, so I'm not sure if it has the ability to do bulk. But yes, you can go back and do that to every single image. It just creates a little categories, just like on your posts, that has it. I think I deactivated it. Let's activate it.
Do you know what unattached images?
Hmm?
Do you know what unattached images means?
Unattached images means that you did not upload it through a post or a page. It means you uploaded it through your media library. So it's not actually assigned to a post anywhere. It's not on a post.
I have a question in regards to that. So I'm looking at an image that has the permalink that it's to a specific page that I first initially uploaded the image to. Is that something that I'm refreshing permalink to whatever actual
Is that in like?
Last time I checked, you have to download a plugin for it.
I don't want a portrait of a person. I don't want to tag a specific page where I first initially want to be whatever. Because I'm consuming images, I want to multiple posts.
Right. I don't know. I have to look at it. Let's see, I help you. I had one plugin. The plugin that I said that I forgot is a plugin that I can add to the Meetup page as well. It allows you to bulk add media to your library that you've uploaded via FTP or via your server. So essentially, anything that you don't upload from the media library is not going to be in your media library. This allows you to upload media via FTP, and I thought I had it in here, but I guess I forgot to put it. And then from that point, you go into the plugin, and you can use any folder on your entire server. It doesn't have to be in the uploads. And you can say, add this folder to my media library, and it will search it and index that entire folder. So that's really useful if you have a ton of images that you need to upload at once, and then make sure they're in your library.
Don't some web designers and stuff use like an images folder just for the website stuff? That's what they start.
Yes. Are you referring to WordPress specifically or static?
WordPress. I mean, they can use an images folder now. They can link that images.
Well, correct. Correct. If a lot of times though with the WordPress themes, the images folder that's with the theme is more stuff like icons, you know, shadings, whatever it may be. I guess shadings is not the proper way to do it anymore, but yeah. But yes, you can use any folder that you want. So if you have an old website that's still there, from whatever else it may be, you can actually say, I want to use this old folder and I want it to be in my media library. Anyone else? Anything? If I don't have the answer, I'll lie.
How is that different than just taking that folder and just uploading it multiple in the media library? It's the same thing, only you're doing it manually versus automatic.
Same thing. I mean, FTP is going to be faster, most likely. Or through, you know, whatever other methods that you have, you know, maybe faster. You know, if you want to put it on another computer, you know, on another hub while you're doing something else, it depends. I don't know if it's faster or if it's not faster. It all depends on, I guess, your connection and what you're doing. Right. Exactly. Right. Well, if nobody has anything else. You don't need to clap for me.
Cool.
Hopefully everybody learned at least one thing. If not, lie and say you did.
I learned one thing. Remember just looking for something to do like that. It's good to revisit it years later. Because I looked for something.
Yeah.
At the time I looked for it, it wasn't there. And now, 4 years later, oh, it's now.
Right, exactly. And that's what's kind of good, I think, about this is revisiting it, because I know Chris